Hey, it's your boy DJ Wolf here. You know, I was thinking about something. I know some people are gonna feel some kind of way about this shit, and I don't give a damn. I really don't. For a number of reasons. I guess number one, to start things out, some people in our community feel a sense of entitlement. And I'm talking about those people who never went to bat for themselves and how can I say it? Those people who never worked or went the extra mile to get ahead. I know people like that. I've seen people like that. I've worked with people like that. You know, those people who talk a good game but never backed it up. You know, those people who I know that talk the game, good game, and wouldn't back it up are the same people who wouldn't make sacrifices like trying to go to school after they get off an 8 to 10 hour shift. You know, work 12 hours and then go to school for another 3-4 hours, and then get home and then go back to start the process all over again. You know, but yet those are some of the same people. So those are some of the same people who wonder why you got ahead later on and they didn't. When you're trying to encourage them to go back, you know, further education at the age of 33. Yeah, them kind of people. You know, you all be all fancy. You know, you got a good job. You know what it took to get this and get that? Hard fucking work. Not to say that you didn't work. Maybe you just didn't work as hard as I did. You know, because I know people like that. And they be talking big smack. I'm like, really? Are you serious? You know? I mean, I just tell somebody one time, and they were like, well, you got a house. But I had to pick them up one time. And they're like, oh, well, you got a house. I live in an apartment. What the God? Hell, you got less to be concerned about than I do. Only thing you got to do is lock up your damn apartment. That's it. You know? I come out of a house, I got to make sure all the perimeters are okay. I got to make sure the iron turned off, the stove turned off, the garage is locked, all the doors are locked. You know? You might have just one door for your entire entrance. You know? And furthermore, may not have to worry about any other additional stuff like security alarm and all that stuff. So, yeah. And it's just, you know, some people feel that they're entitled even though they don't work as hard as you do. You know? And I'm not saying that you ain't working. You just may not be working as hard as I am. You know? But they feel some kind of way because you got to where you did and they didn't do quite what you did. And I'm not putting anybody down because they didn't get to where they are. But by the same token, I don't want anybody to try to check me because I did what I had to do and you think that you're entitled to what I did. You know? You feel a sense of entitlement as a result of that. No, you should not. Not at all. Not at all. You know? I got to where I got to because of what I had to do for me, myself, and my family. I made that sacrifice. You didn't. Okay? So don't feel some kind of way because of something I had to do for myself and my family. And then try to throw me under the bus or make me feel some kind of way or make me feel guilty about something you didn't fucking do. You know? That just pisses me off. Like the late, great Robert Harris says, to the highest of pistivity. And don't get no higher than that. But, you know, seriously though, you know, I've dealt with that before. You know, Man, look at him, y'all fancy. Look at him, lost weight. Look at him, It's called sacrifice. Our ancestors had sacrificed, while they were slaves. And then their people, the generation of them sacrificed for their kids to have a better life. And then their generation sacrificed for my generation to have a better life. And so on and so on and so forth. That's just how it works. That's just how it works, period. There's no other way around it. But the thing of it is, I'm noticing that the newer generation, some of these generations aren't doing that. Some of these families aren't making the same sacrifices for the kids. If anything, they're spending the kids to make sacrifices for them. Which leads to my talk about the young man who had chose to go to Florida State and play for the Gators over his mama's wishes to go to Alabama and play for the Crimson Tide. And what really irked me is this woman knows she was dead wrong. Now, I read something else in the paper, and I don't know if it's true, but I don't really want to comment on that. Regardless of whether he was involved with something he shouldn't have been involved with or not, to me is irrelevant. But that wasn't the real, and I'm pretty sure that wasn't the real reason she wanted him to go to Alabama. If that was the case, she would have moved out of Florida and lived in Alabama. She didn't. That's a bunch of bullshit. But I'm pretty sure that she wanted him to go to Alabama because somebody in Alabama said, well, if you can convince him to go to Alabama, we'll pay you this much money. What I don't like about that whole situation was not only was the mother wearing an Alabama jersey at the rally for him to have selected Florida State, but the grandmother did the same damn thing too. And then on top of that, grandmother was talking to two other kids in the middle of the press conference. The grandmother. And as soon as he made his announcement that he was going to Florida State, the mother and the grandmother got up and stepped out. And I saw it. I just happened to saw it last week. I talked about it last week a little bit, and I'm talking about it right now. But I'm talking about it in length to bring up a good point. The mother and the grandmother were in their feelings. In their feelings. Not in, the adulation that he was even picked to go to college. But in their feelings about where they felt he should go. And that brings me to this. It's all about black folks or certain black folks who didn't sacrifice what they, the way they probably should have did for the kids. And instead wanted the kids to do it for them. And once they found the kid had a talent, of course, they feel entitled. To a point where she wants to dictate where the fuck he goes to college at. Ain't that a bitch? For a bitch to do that? And like I said, I don't know his mom. But it did piss me off that she did that. And she had to feel some kind of way about where he should go. And I'm like, that's not even your freaking choice. It's not even your freaking decision. You're not one sacrificing your time and your effort and your body to get, some damage done, because eventually it's going to happen in football. It's going to happen in football. My son played football. He played Boys Girls Club, and he wanted to go to Florida State. But I told my son at the time, when he was in high school, I said, you go to Florida State, you better make sure that you work to get a scholarship. I said, you're not going to just go on my dime for free. Because Florida State, like any other big league college, ain't cheap. And the young man, hey, that was his choice. That's where he wanted to go. His mom should respect him because he was man enough to make up his own mind. You know? But instead, she wanted to dictate where he wanted to go because she wanted to control what he did. And that kind of reminded me of a local yokel out here, or a local person. Kevin Durant, right? PG's own, right out here. And when they won the championship about a year ago, in the middle of the press conference, she gets up in his face. Let the young man be the man and have his own career and control of his own career and his own life instead of you being right in the middle of it. You know, he'll give you personal time when you have time to do it. Not right in the middle when he's trying. This is his business. This is his livelihood. Stay out of his face. You know, and I thought that was you know, it was a bit humiliating to me to see his mom do that to him. You know, but that's another whole story. You know, I wasn't feeling that. I'm sorry, I was not. But you know, I don't know if she pulled the same. I don't recall her doing that kind of stuff to him. Other than that, last year after they won the championship, Golden State, it did remind me a little of that, but not quite as bad. Because this thing was just terrible. This guy's mother had on a jersey for another team, and then walked out when he made his decision to go with the team that he wanted to be with, which wasn't Alabama. And the young man, you could tell, felt miserable. He was emotional about it. And his mom wasn't even there for him. Let alone his no accountability father. You know. But I don't know what his father is, so I really can't, comment on that. But I don't know. You know. It's really sad, man. When we come in the state, and you know, the same thing happened with Shaq. Shaq's dad, when Shaq came up. LeBron James' dad, same thing. You know, all these guys who's no shit, no accountable fathers, were nowhere to be found when they were out there struggling. Then all of a sudden they become a man, and they're making some ends based on their talents, and then all y'all niggas want to come up here and pick up a check. The fuck out of here. It just really, really gets under my fucking skin when I saw that. You know? It really, really gets under my fucking skin. And notice, I ain't called just out some of the mothers. Well, Kevin Durant, I can't really say a whole lot about her, because at least she has been in his life. You know. But beyond that, you know, to embarrass him like she did on TV, that was a bit uncalled for. But nevertheless, you know, I recall pulling that mess that this young man's mom did. And notice I did call the no shit, no accountable fathers who decide they want to come pick up a check 20, 25 years later after the kids start winning some titles. You know, like, oh, you owe me. Fuck out of here. Go back to where the fuck you came from. You know? It just gets under my skin, man. These same fucking dickhead guys who wasn't around for these young men, you know, and knowing they had the opportunity to get around these young men's lives and didn't attempt to. All of a sudden, yeah, son, how you doing? I see you doing good. Could you loan me 50 grand? Fuck out of here. Man, I ain't gonna lie. One thing I will say for myself, I wish I did have that kind of money to give to my dad. You know, if I was making that kind of money in basketball, and I'll get to that in a second, because my dad has been in my life. Both my parents, very much so. And I can honestly say that. I can't deny it. Some crazy shit they did over years, but one thing I can't deny is that the fact that they've always been in my life. But, you know, there's some other things that was going on, but beyond that, I love both. I can honestly say that wholeheartedly. There's no, you know, I can never deny something that I know was true. But these guys out here today, these cats out here today, man, making claims of kids they never been around, all of a sudden they want the butter biscuits. You know, they feel a sense of entitlement based on the fact, oh, well, I give you life, and that was it. You know, although I was in one, I can tell you this one situation. I'm gonna let it go. Years ago, and I don't mind telling. I don't even give a damn who knows about it. Years ago, my dad was talking about this guy who married this woman that he used to date. And he said, well, yeah, son was a football player, and he played for the NFL. He sat with school. I did know about a guy named Emmitt something, but it wasn't not Emmitt with the Cowboys. There was another Emmitt who lived in Cleveland. I did know about guy like his name Smith that I did go to school with Cleveland. I don't know if it's the same guy or not. Didn't care. Nevertheless, my dad was feeling some kind of way at the time. And this is back in 2000. And although I can honestly say my folks weren't really heavy into getting me into sports, because much they knew how much I liked sports, and I used to go to baseball games all the time. I used to play basketball and stuff like that on the side. They never really was that supportive me sports wise. Matter of fact, they told me the opposite. It's like, hey, you need to get your education. Don't worry, try to do all this right now. Get your education. They tell me that all the time. So to me, the kids, that's all they want to do. Yeah, look at them. You're richer than I am. But that's another story. But then all of a sudden, when they see how these kids down, or these guys are making that kind of money, now they feel some kind of way with it. Now they feel entitled. You know, it was both of my folks too. I'll never forget. Like my mother was like, well, you should have been out there doing like your cousin. Well, my cousin got supported from his family to go out there and encourage him and stood behind him when he wanted to play sports. My folks was not like that with me. It was just the opposite. But they saw the potential of what these sports guys are doing now and the kind of money they make in the last 25, 30 years. Then they feel so, oh, if I'd have had you there, I could have been getting all this money. They felt entitled. So we were in the restaurant, me, my dad, and my brother, and they're talking, and then he just happened to say that shit, like, you know what? And he came out and just said, quote, I could have had a football player for a son. He felt a sense of entitlement. Right then and there. But if you're not investing that kind of time with your kids, how the fuck do you expect them to do that? You know? I invested that kind of time in my son. Now, he's not playing football, he's doing something else. And he played rugby in college, but that's fine. At least he can never say, I never got involved with his life. You know? That I never encouraged him to play sports, because I did. I mean, not actually encourage him to play sports. I saw that he wanted to play sports when he was 2 years old. And me and my wife would decide when he got a little older, we were going to allow him to play football. He played football 4 years, he played basketball 2 years. You know? So it was up to him after that what he wanted to do. He still was required to keep his grades up regardless. And he did a pretty good job of that for the most time that he played sports. And that's why he was playing sports for 6 years, roughly about 6-7 years because of that. But by the time he got in high school, he did cross country in high school, and then it's just like, that was it. So at least he got a chance to do all of that. I didn't hold him back. But he can never say I didn't give him an opportunity. I gave him an opportunity, so. My folks wasn't like that. They waited until years later after they saw these millionaire guys making money off of sports and stuff. Decide, oh yeah, if you were doing that, I could have been, you know. But did again. It's the self-entitlement. You know, I worked all these years, 2-3 jobs, and you could have been doing this to help me out if you would have been playing sports. Yeah, I could have been. If you'd help me out and encourage me and allow me and support me on doing it. Bottom line. That's how that works. You know? And that to me is kind of a selfish attitude. I'm sorry, it's selfish. It's very, very selfish. You know? I would never tell my son to do something he wasn't, you know, either encouraged to do or not encouraged to do, and then try to make him do something he don't want to do. If he don't want to do it, that's fine. See, and look at LeVar Ball. You know, he has sons playing basketball. Now he feels a sense of entitlement too. Do I think it's right? No. Because he wanted to tell his son where he wanted him to play. Now his son is making CDs. Somebody was telling me they think that he's actually rebelling against LeVar. He probably is. I never thought about that. He's probably rebelling. I don't know. I said, he could be rebelling. He may not be. Who knows? Let's see. Got all this mail here. That's probably his. Oh. Man by man. But pills. They come back as fast as you get rid of them. I'll tell you. But, kind of feel like people now, they have this sense of time to go straight to their head. It really does. It's to a point now where, Black parents now see all dollar signs. They see the dollar signs before they see the needs of the kids. What the kids want. And I kind of think that holds true for my parents too, because they were the same way. And LeVar Ball, he got his kids in sports. But you see, these kids are very quiet. They don't say a whole lot of anything. But I thought about that because Lonzo now, not only did he release a mixtape, I guess he's a rapper, so I never heard him rap song. But he also today said he is rumored that he got his girlfriend pregnant. But according to one of the it was either TV or YouTube, or it was YouTube, they're saying that maybe she trapped him. We don't know. But right now, he'd be lucky if he could stay a Laker another year because they say he played like shit right now. I saw a couple of games he played. He wasn't that great. He wasn't that explosive. But see, and me and my son had an argument about it. But LeVar put all his eggs in one basket. And the sense of entitlement is just going over his head. His other son, a while back, last year, got in trouble for stealing a pair of glasses. His younger son, he moved him out of the country to go to school someplace else to play ball. Really? LeVar, he comes off very, and I hate to say it, and I know some people won't, I don't know he like that. He comes off very coonish. He does. Y'all talk about these guys like Tommy and stuff. The hell with that. To me, LeVar Ball is more coonish than anybody I've seen. He come out there, he walk like I'm looking at this dude and say, dude, really? If you're going to be a businessman, be a businessman. At least act like you're a businessman. And stop pretending like you're a fucking shucking jiving ass nigga. Yeah, I said it. That's the way it comes off to me. The business aspect of what he's trying to do, I could kind of understand. But on the other hand, you're going to make your sons work for you, which, okay, to me, I kind of see it that way. They can't think for themselves. They got to think for themselves through you. And you know how I know? Because I had to deal with that type of shit. And they're dealing with it the same way. It's no different. It's no different. It's this older generation now. It's feeling a sense of entitlement because although they know the kids have the abilities and freedoms to do the things that they couldn't do, they still feel that you owe them restitution for it. Instead of letting these young men and women, once you raise them and you raise them right, allow them to develop their own sensibility, their own way of living their own life without you having to try and conduct it like a puppet on a string. Drop the fucking mic. This is DJ Wolf. I'm out. Peace.